Hey guys, today I have a Samsung king size capacity. It's got a huge capacity basket, which I'll show you once it's all done here. We'll clean it all out. But I've got it set up right now. Pretty heavy towels load. I think there's some jackets and some heavier items in there as well. Unfortunately, on this particular Samsung style, I can't bypass the lid lock and show you what's going on. We're going to be able to listen to it. You're going to be able to hear it operating. You'll be able to see that it's got nice, smooth operation. And just to give you an idea here real quick, our door lock should unlock here in a sec, because right now it's spinning that load to get a sense of how much water to use, how heavy it is. I've got it set to deep wash. Let's see, we're open here, so pretty heavy load here. We're gonna get that going. Our door lock is back on, and it's gonna start filling up with water as soon as it senses how big that load is. And then you'll be able to hear it agitate. You'll hear the drain working. Then you'll be able to see and hear it running full speed on the spin cycle. And then if we pair this up with the dryer, I'll show the dryer off next. Otherwise, we'll have just this washer done here. And I kind of do this as if you were standing here yourself checking it out. You get to see that everything on it's working perfect. Kind of get a look at it before you drive, pick it up, or have it dropped off. But I'm going to let it go ahead and fill up with water, and I'll come back and kind of show that off as it progresses through the cycles here. All right, filling up with water. You can hear it getting the water in there. So not only will it'll shoot water straight into the tub, but it also runs water through the little dispenser tray as well, which I'll show that up here in a minute. So once it gets all the way full, it starts agitating. We'll hit pause, which will unlock the lid, and I can show you how much water it's using, and I'll show you that dispenser tray as well. All right, so it's getting started agitating. Not sure though that it's done adding water, so I'm going to give it just a second here. But as you can hear, it's got a nice strong agitation. And how this works with there not being a center agitator is you have a plate on the bottom that kind of moves in a fashion like an agitator, and what it does is it creates a vortex, taking the clothes and pushing them up the middle, out, down, around the sides. So not only are the clothes agitating against that plate on the bottom, but they're also going to agitate on themselves, which might sound weird, but that's actually the idea, has been the idea behind the way clothes get washed for a long time. If you think of a front load washer, the clothes tumble on themselves, and that is the form of agitation that gets them clean. So that's how these machines work, and the Samsungs do a really good job of using plenty of water and very strong agitation so your clothes come out nice and clean, especially on that deep wash. So let's see what happens here if we hit pause, see if it'll go ahead and open the door for us. You can see full submersion of water there. A few clothes kind of floating to the top, but we've got full submersion here, which is excellent. Not skimping on the water usage at all, and it's getting everything nice and mixed up there. So go ahead and close that back down, hit start. And it's going to get back to work, and I'll come back and show you that the drain is working next. All right, moving out of the wash cycle into the rinse cycle. It is draining that water out. I always wrap a towel around here just in case it shoots a little water back out of my drain hose here, but you can hear it draining that water out nice and fast. And once it's done draining all that water out, it'll spin out the used up soapy water. All right, still working on the rinse cycle. It's just about done, I believe, but it's getting up to that extra high spin speed in increments. So if you can hear it speed up there, it's getting faster and faster, and what happens is the drain's running, so as it speeds up, more and more water's getting pulled out of the clothes, and it's gradually bringing that speed up to full speed. It's pretty smart the way it works, actually. And then on the final spin, it will ramp all the way up to max RPMs. All right, once again draining out now for that final spin. And now since I have it set to the extra high setting, it's going to take a few more minutes as it ramps up its speed and auto levels, adjust those clothes inside. Whereas it won't take as long even if you drop down just to the high or the mid. Now, especially if you're doing, you know, bulky items like sheets, bedding stuff, you never want to go on the high settings. You want a mid or low. I didn't actually know that till just a couple years ago. But yeah, big blankets, big sheets, that kind of thing, you want to go mid or low. It does a much better job. The machine moves a lot quicker, moving, spinning things out and getting balanced. So, but this is a pretty heavy towel load, and for video purposes, I always run everything just basically on full blast. So you'll get to see as it moves along, it'll kind of ramp up its spin speed as it extracts the water out, and it'll cycle the drain on and off as well. So we'll let it kind of get started on that, and I'll come back once it's got going. Okay, so it's kind of getting started doing its thing. It's got the drain running. It is spinning. It's very hard to tell. You can hear it kind of ramping up there. And like I said, it goes in pulses, if you will, where it's going to continue to pulse up faster and faster. And as it pulses and gets a little bit faster each time, more and more water is extracted from the clothes, allowing it to go faster and faster. So it will do this for, especially like I said, being on extra high, it'll do this for a while before it gets up to full speed. But the benefit of this, kind of the part of the HE designation on some of these newer machines, is once it goes through this and goes that fast and spins the clothes out at such a high RPM, it's going to make those clothes very light when they come out. It's cut your drying time in half. So huge benefit. Anyway, as you can see, nice and quiet. And I'll come back once it's at top speed. Full speed on the final spin. And it is moving super fast. I don't know, you probably can't even tell hardly. You can see the drain hose back there with a little bit of vibration in it. It is moving super fast. Once it's done here, I'm going to lift the lid up and show you how light those clothes are. But hardly any vibration to it at all. Good thing to note is make sure you level your feet once you get this thing level front to back, side to side. You want to pull those feet out about half a turn. If you don't, you might get a little bit of vibration or a little bit of a, like a rubbing, plastic on plastic rubbing noise if the feet aren't nice and snug, which I did not do. You can hear that a little bit. Okay, real quick, wanted to show off. I went under there and pulled the legs out a little bit so that everything's nice and level, because we had one little leg that wasn't snug and it was squeaking at me a little bit, and I didn't like that. So I went under, also shed a little bit of lithium grease, kind of where the metal touches the metal of the back plate, where that gets screwed on. So as you can see, I just wanted to show you at full speed spin here, absolutely no little squeaky noise. Those little noises absolutely drive me crazy, and I do everything I can to eliminate them. And sometimes with the back panels that come off like that, where the metal meets the metal, it can rub or squeak a little bit, and a little bit of white lithium grease will take care of that. So, spinning super fast. Good to go. Alright, finished up. Unlock the door for us. You can see those clothes. They've been thrown around. Nice and light. Super light. Let's grab a super heavy towel here. Excellent. So when we put those into the dryer, they're going to dry super fast because they are nice, light, and extracted. So did an excellent job. Now having it all maxed out, deep wash, extra high, that load right there, which is pretty heavy, mostly towels, you can see, took about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe an hour and 25. So you can greatly reduce that time and still get your deep water wash just by setting this on mid or even high, but mid's gonna shave probably 30-35 minutes off of that time frame there, because it spends quite a bit of time making sure this is balanced before it ramps up to that super high speed. And, you know, it's a nice built-in safety feature, but it does make your loads take a little bit longer. So a little tip there for you. All right, now we've got this Samsung washer all cleaned out. Clothes moved over to the dryer. You can see huge capacity on that guy there. Hey, one tip I'll give you real quick as I do these videos. I like to give out these little tips. If you're experiencing any type of off-balance issues with your washer right now, here's something you want to check. If you're buying a used machine, you want to reach down in here like this and take 2 fingers and see if you can bounce this like a basketball, where I'm pushing about as hard as I can, and if you see there, I can just barely get it to move. Now if you could reach in here and you start tapping it like this, and it just starts boom 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 bouncing like a basketball literally, and you're just bouncing away on it, and you look here and it's just do like that, that's how you know the shocks are bad. And it's a question I get all the time on the Samsungs. They got kind of a bad rep for that, but what happens is over time, if you overfill these and you load them up with way too many clothes or fill it up too high, it can just essentially, it's undue stress on the machine, and those shocks just aren't designed to take that much stress. You want to fill this to right about here, no more than 3/4 of the way, and you don't want to shove and pack the clothes down either. This is going to be most efficient when your clothes are thrown in, filled up to right about here, and then allow the machine some room to do its job. You'll get cleaner clothes that way, it runs more efficient, spins faster, and then in turn your clothes are gonna dry faster that way too. So just a little note about that. I like to throw those tips out there. So we've got this one, it's all shut down, it's ready to go again on any cycle you wanna put it on. We'll just shut that off for now. And we move over here to the dryer. I like to run these just on time dry. You can manually control your heat, and I just set it on full blast. You've also got a heavy duty on the sensor cycle, so it's gonna sense how long to run for, and then you can do a little bit of adjustment on the heat and stuff. You have wrinkle shield, damp dry signal, end of cycle signal. You can turn this on or off. That's nice if you have kids sleeping or dogs or anything and you don't want it going off when it's done. You can adjust your time right here, so you can add more time, you can take away time. You know, a few features, but they're all usable. They all have a purpose. So I like this style dryer right here. You still have your lint trap on the top. You want to make sure that gets changed before each load. So there again, so it can run efficiently. And then I'm going to show you that inside it is heating like it's supposed to. So right in between those 2 red dots, it's taking a surface temperature measurement, so about 74 degrees on top of the dryer. If I come down and shine it on the concrete floor, it's a little colder down there, it's about 61 degrees. So we'll go ahead and open this up. You see everything was tumbling in here. Shine it right inside the heating element tube. So now there's a ton of heat coming out of this grate, this tube right here. Hottest part of the dryer, because the heating element's right back behind here. So your air is going to come up out here, hot, mixed with your clothes. Heat the inside of your dryer up anywhere from about 95 to 195. And then it's going to exit right there, which is where the lint trap catches any additional lint and stuff. That's why it's important it gets changed for each load. You got a nice bright light in here. Huge capacity, just about anything you get to fit in the washer. You have no problem drying it in this dryer here. So this is a good pair. Hit start. And now you can hear that dryer. Might sound a little loud, but that's because there's no vent hose on the back. And with the vent hose on the back, it's gonna make this thing virtually silent. You'll still be able to hear the clothes tumbling around a little bit, but both of these machines run really quiet, do an excellent job. So that's why we decided to go ahead and pair them up. But we will go ahead and get these listed up for sale. I do appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks, you guys have a great day.